Hi everyone. I want to show you a quick growth hack that's super cool of how you can automate the entire process of getting ideas from tweets that you know that have gone viral, meaning they've been out there in the wild, they've worked, the algorithm liked them, and you're going to gather these into a database. You can use Notion, Google Sheets, Airtable, Monday, whatever it is that you want to use. In our case, we're going to use Google Sheets, which I personally have never done before because we use Airtable at the agency. But in this case, I wanted it to be something that's completely free and easy to utilize. So we're going to dive into Google Sheets, Zapier, and Twitter to gather these ideas that have gone wild for inspiration, not to copy. That way we can gather them into a database and you all can use them to craft new ideas and things that you're working on and hopefully kind of go along the same lines. That way you also have a higher chance of going viral and getting more traffic and pushing whatever it is that you're trying to push. So let's dive right in. Again, we're using Zapier, Twitter, and Google Sheets. Let's do this. So I have here an open Zap right now. This is a brand new Zap. I didn't do anything yet. I just dove in here because I didn't want you all to see the previous screen with client information. And I'm going to click here on Twitter, or you can actually just search here Twitter and it'll bring this up. And the event that we want is a search event, and we're going to do search mention and hit continue. It's going to ask you to log in if you haven't done so already. I'm going to skip to the next step because here it's going to do a drop down with some account information and some of it is sensitive. So I'm going to log in and I'll meet you all at the next step. So I have my account here logged in. As you can see, I'm going to hit continue and hopefully you're with me now with your account. So the search terms that you can type into here can vary. What we're going to actually do is get query search terms, and we're going to get them from Twitter's advanced search tool. So it's pretty cool. And we're not doing any code or anything fancy like that. It's all just kind of clicking around, copying and pasting. So let's take a look for a second at the Google Sheet as well. I have here 2 tabs. Inspiration. Here's where we're building the database with all the tweets that have gone viral with the basic information that we're going to throw in here. And then these are just accounts for organizational purposes. You can actually automate this even further, but for now we're just placing this here for organizational purposes only. So imagine you have a bunch of topics that your agency is working on, or a company, whatever it is that you're focused on, and you have here a bunch of accounts that talk about WordPress, a bunch of accounts that talk about SEO and so forth, and you have here a Zap that you've put together, and this is just WordPress inspo, right? And this Zap, what it does is it dumps tweets into here, into inspiration, utilizing only accounts that talk about WordPress because that's what we're building here. So I'm going to copy this account. This account focuses on WordPress. This is my friend Nat from Canada. And what we're going to do, you can see here, I was kind of just preparing a few things. So we're just going to type anything, WordPress. All we want to do is get to this screen here, to this search area. That way we can type on advanced search. Under advanced search, we scroll down. There's a section here called from these accounts. We're going to paste here my friend Nat's account, and we're going to leave everything here blank. So we don't want it to be to specific accounts. We don't want it just mentioning specific accounts and so forth. Here's where the magic happens. I'm going to tell Twitter that I want to only see tweets from Nat that are with at least, let's just say 15 replies, meaning a lot of people, relatively here, a lot of people engage with this tweet, and let's just say it has around 100 likes. That way we know for a fact, again, that this tweet did something. Now, obviously, you need to put these numbers in relevance to the account. So if Nat has a really, really big account, these numbers might not be relevant. You want to kind of analyze the account for a sec and just take a look at what is considered bigger. You can mess around with these searches a bunch of times to see when you're really starting to pick up some tweets that seem to be going viral for that particular account. So I'm going to hit search. So all of these tweets are tweets that have gone viral for Nat. You're going to be able to see here that some of them are older, so they won't show what's the audience like that he reached. But some of them, look at this, reaching almost 1 million people from a simple tweet that he did. I made this with CSS. So before hitting continue, I want to take this even a step further. That way, by the time that we're done, we actually have tweets that are coming from different accounts and they're all meeting the criteria that we defined. So we have here Zap that is pulling tweets from Nat with minimum replies of 15 and 100 likes minimum again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Google Sheets. We're going to pretend we are a digital agency that can talk maybe about WordPress, SEO, freelancing, and so forth. I'm going to copy this account, Joshua's, that talks about SEO. I'm going to go back to Twitter. It's usually easier to come to Twitter. That way you can actually get some live feedback rather than trying to do this through through Zapier, where it can get a bit trickier to troubleshoot. So I'm going to type in here or, and I'm going to add from, and then paste the account that we just copied from the Google Sheet where we did some research and found accounts that are relevant to us. Now, again, remember that the criteria here could all of a sudden mean that Josh's account doesn't show up at all because he's not as big as Nat's. Or again, depending on the criteria, vice versa. So you do want to make sure that the criteria that you're defining here is not eliminating all of a sudden some of these accounts, because then it's just not, there's no point. The idea here is to get, viral tweets that are relative to the account. So in this case, I've already done that research and I know for a fact that these accounts can work. I'm going to hit enter. And now if we search through these results, we should be starting to see tweets that are from both Nat and Josh that have gone viral and meet the criteria that we defined. Then there's Josh talking about SEO. And so if we keep doing this and adding more accounts, we can get to a point where we have tweets that have been exposed. And as you can see here, since Musk took over, we can see everybody's exposure. This simple tweet that Nat did, that you can replicate easily, did 750,000 people. So we're talking over 700,000 people have seen this tweet. If you're building something, this can be huge for you if you're trying to get exposure or market whatever it is that you're trying to get exposure for. So this is phenomenal. So we're going to go back here. We're going to copy this query that we have now from 2 people, that we can assume that it's from even 10 people. We're going to go to our Zap and paste it into here and remove the one that we had before. It's going to verify that everything looks good. I'm going to hit continue, and it's running a test now, and it should be pulling some data. Okay, so here's the tweet that it actually pulled, and if I open this tweet, you'll see that this tweet should have some nice numbers. So it's been liked over 100 times, retweeted twice, clearly a tweet that meets the criteria that we defined, got some traction here. I'm going to go back. So now we have the URL, we have the text, everything that we need, the amount that it was retweeted, the amount that it was liked. So everything that we need to inject this into a Google Sheet. That way when we come back after the weekend or in a week or two and sit down and want to just schedule out a ton of tweets and social media posts, we know for a fact that this has worked. So I'm going to continue with this step, and now I'm going to search for Google Sheets and add a second step here to the flow that we're building. And again, I'm going to choose an event, and what we're going to do is, I think it's add or create a row. Let's see. Create spreadsheet row is what we're looking for. I'm going to hit continue. So again, like I did with Zapier, I'm going to choose the account quickly, and I will come back to you after I go to the next step. Okay, so I've connected my Google Sheets account. I'm going to choose just the default drive that it's offering me that connects to the account. You all are probably seeing the same thing in this step. So I selected the spreadsheet Twitter like we decided here. And in this case, I want to dump all the data into the inspiration tab. So that's what I'm going to look for in this case under this spreadsheet, and it should offer it. So here it is, the inspiration and the accounts here. I'm going to choose inspiration. So the same fields that I'm being offered here are the same fields that we put here. You can add more fields into this if you want Zapier to offer you more. As you see, the Twitter API is giving us a really nice response with a lot of details, so we can even add more information around what we're putting together here. So I'm going to dive right into this again. We're going to search for in this case, the user is Nat. The tweet that we want is this right here, the text, the tweet text, and what else do we want? The link. That way we can just refer to that tweet for a sec if we need it. So this is the link to the profile. We want the right here where it says status and then the ID for that status, and that's what we want there. And then likes. This just kind of gives you a bird's eye view from the Google Sheet. That way you don't always need to check. So I think they call it favorite. So there it is, the favorite count. So I'm going to hit continue. And now that we have this set up, we can go ahead and test the entire flow here. And if all works, we should be seeing some things here that are appearing. So I'm just going to format this so that it looks a bit easier to work with. And there it is. So the first tweet that we found here is we launched this website almost 7 years ago. And the first tweet that it brought us here is we launched this website almost 7 years ago. So hopefully this is giving you some really cool ideas now that you're seeing this starting to click together and how this can work, to things that you can do and how crazy this can get. And so we did here just one example. If you end up turning this on and publish the Zap, what it's going to do is, and if I publish and hit turn on, this Zap now will constantly listen. I could be out and about on the weekend, shopping, whatever it is that I'm doing, and this Zap is running for me on autopilot to get WordPress tweets information, tweets about SEO, marketing, whatever it is that we set up, meeting the criteria. And when we sit down every 2 weeks or so to work on all of our content and schedule everything out for all of our social media posts, then everything is going to be ready for us. What I like to do in this case now, just so that I know that it was used, I can just add something like used here, and then you can add like a little ticker or do like ones and zeros. That way you can automatically filter, and just, if say I use this for inspiration and I don't want to use it again, just so I'm not repeating myself, then I can just change this to yes or one or whatever it is. And then when I come back here to filter, I can just tell it to, say I have here a 0 and more tweets. Oops. And say one of them is a 0, and so if I tell it now with the filter, only show me the ones that I use, which are, say, 0, then it's only going to show me that. So you can start to add more fields here to filter random things that you want, maybe specific amount of likes, maybe specific amount of retweets, accounts, used or not used, whatever it is, whatever inspiration you're looking to get when you're sitting down and scheduling all your stuff. Here's where it gets even cooler. So this is a tweet that we can't really just feed ChatGPT, but say we go to, let's find another tweet that it would have given us, because I don't want to sit here and wait for Zapier to catch another Zap and for these accounts to tweet. Okay, here you go. You don't need to grind to be successful. 4 hours of work per day can make you rich. So I'm going to take this and let me just refresh here. ChatGPT randomly is buggy, and I'm gonna tell it compose 3 similar tweets to this one, and I'm gonna feed it the tweet, and ChatGPT is gonna just dissect this for a sec and start spitting back out at me different type of tweets that are all in line with exactly what we've defined. So mind you, what we've got going on here, Zapier is listening automatically and throwing tweets that have gone viral according to these accounts and the criteria that we defined. They've gone viral. Zapier is listening. It's adding those tweets to Google Sheets or Airtable or Monday or whatever you're working with. And when we come and sit down every 2 weeks or so, we literally just have an infinite amount of work to inspire us from other people. That way we can craft our own. And what I like to do is just twist and churn these a little bit. That way it gets to a point where, you know, say you started with this tweet, right? But then you end up telling ChatGPT to give you something similar, and now you're working with this tweet. And if you reword this a little bit more and put your own flavor on it, you're completely far off from the original tweet that you started with. So this can go a really long way, and you can automate even this process with Zapier, connecting it to ChatGPT and doing a lot more than just adding, you know, ideas to the spreadsheet. So I hope that you found some inspiration from this video, and maybe your mind is already racing in different directions of where you can take this and put your own flavor and twist to it. Remember that these tools are incredible. You can start with a Twitter search and you can find yourself slacking people, sending out emails, assigning tasks through Asana, through Monday, through Notion. You name it, you can do it. Zapier is incredible. Google Sheets is free. Take this to whatever direction you want to take. I hope you got some inspiration. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you have any questions or any other type of material around this topic that you would like me to cover.